Hey, I hope you're all having a great day today. Nintendo fans definitely are not, and especially Nintendo fans that happen to live in Canada. And that is because Nintendo of Canada is implementing some price changes. But the price changes aren't exactly on the Switch 2, they're on the Switch 1, Switch 1 games, accessories, amiibos, and the online memberships. Why? Well, because it's modern gaming, that's why. I don't want to make anyone feel old here, but does anyone else here remember things like Player's Choice? For those of you who are unaware, Player's Choice back in the day would be put on games that sold over 1 million copies, and you would actually get that game for cheaper to reward players for supporting that game. You will honestly never ever see some shit like that again, especially not in the modern times. I swear 2025 is the year that all these companies just went mask off. They just don't care about their reputation anymore. They don't care how they're viewed, they don't care if people view them as greedy or scummy or whatever, and they're just gonna try to extract as much money as possible. And you know what? It's working pretty well for them. The Nintendo Switch 2 is one of the biggest console launches of all time. The message is loud and clear to these companies. Yes, you can increase the price of games, Microsoft. You can increase the price of games, Nintendo. And Sony can probably get away with it too. Because at the end of the day, money talks, bullshit walks. And despite all of the complaining that people like me and others have done, at the end of the day, a lot of those people who complained online, they still went out and bought it anyway. They bought the Switch 2, they bought the $80 games. They're gonna buy that dog shit Outer Worlds 2 game. But let's focus on the subject of today's video. And that is the price increases in Canada from Nintendo. So I found out about these price increases this morning when I was scrolling Twitter. I usually do that when I wake up, I just check what's going on. And I seen a post from a news account that I follow called Wario64, and he informed me of these changes. Anyway, here's the tweet from Wario64. Nintendo of Canada is changing pricing on original Nintendo Switch family of systems and products in Canada based on market conditions. Includes OLED, non-OLED, light, physical/digital Switch games and accessories, amiibo, Nintendo Switch Online memberships, does not apply to Switch 2. Pricing info to be shared on August 1st. Yeah, this shit is genuinely unbelievable. They're increasing a price of how old is the Switch now? Let me look it up, 1 second. Okay, so the Switch 1 is 7 years old, and what I find really funny about this, besides the fact that they're increasing the price of a fucking 7-year-old console, is the fact that back when Doug Bowser revealed the Switch 2 and he got a lot of backlash for the pricing, he said if you couldn't afford the Switch 2, to buy a Switch 1. It would seem he forgot to tell us that he was also going to increase the price of that Switch 1, at least in Canada. A Switch OLED in Canada is already $450 before taxes, and there's between like a 10 and 15% tax in Canada. Games like Tears of the Kingdom in Canada, once you buy them after tax, go above $100. Mario Kart World is above $100 here in Canada. And you guys are gonna increase the prices? And you had to do it on Canada Day too, didn't you? Happy Canada Day from Nintendo. I know 85% of you are living paycheck to paycheck, but fuck you guys, we're doing a price increase. Have fun. Oh yeah, and you guys blame it on market conditions. Let's take a look at those market conditions. Okay, so you can see their stock price here. They're doing better than they have ever been doing. Does this look like a company that needs to increase prices to stay afloat? But I just want to go through a quick article explaining things, so yeah, let's go ahead and get into that. Nintendo raising Switch prices in Canada. Nintendo is set to change the price of the Switch, making it more expensive in Canada. The company announced on Monday that, based on market conditions, a number of its products will see a price change in the country. These products include the Nintendo Switch OLED model, Nintendo Switch Lite, physical and digital Nintendo Switch games, and even Nintendo Switch accessories. The Switch 2, Nintendo says, won't be impacted by the upcoming changes, neither will Switch 2 games or accessories. Exact pricing wasn't revealed with the announcement, however, Nintendo says that it will be shared on August 1st via the Nintendo Canada website. Now here's where things get interesting. The news of the price changes come after Donald Trump said that he was cutting off all trade talks with Canada. The latest comments seem to be enough to force the change for Nintendo. If that's the case, then why are you increasing the price on digital video games? I remember the same thing happened back when the tariffs were being talked about and everyone was saying, oh, the tariffs are the reason that games are going up in price. But a lot of people would bring up that digital games are also going up in price. They just wanted an excuse to raise the price. They could have easily eaten this small bit of revenue loss. I mean, look how good they're doing. But let's continue on here. This isn't the first time Nintendo has made price changes to its hardware in recent months. Just days before the Switch 2 pre-orders were set to open in the United States and Canada, Nintendo delayed them and announced a jump in price for a number of accessories. It's honestly insane how many price jumps we have seen just this year alone. Also, Nintendo Switch accessories are extremely overpriced. Dude, Joy-Cons for the regular Switch are $100. That is nuts. The company also follows both Microsoft and Sony, announcing price increases for its Xbox Series and PlayStation 5 systems, respectively. For Microsoft, the changes took place globally. For Sony, however, they were limited to certain regions for the time being. Insider Gaming has reached out to Nintendo for comment on why only Canada is seeing the change, and if the Switch could see prices increased in the United States and elsewhere. As of publishing, no response has been received. I mean, dear God, don't give them any ideas. Now, the reaction to this is about what you'd expect. Nearly everybody is lambasting Nintendo for this. So I want to go over some replies left to Wario64's post where he announced that the price increases would be happening. Well, they say price changes, but we all know that means increase, man. I do see some people saying, oh, they're gonna lower the price, but I mean, yeah, right. The Movie Hero says, we truly live in the greediest timeline. Canadian Czar says, yeah, at Nintendo Canada, you guys suck, this is just the beginning. Thumbreaker says, I've never in my entire life seen a scenario where a console gets more expensive after its successor came out. Mahir.io, I think that's how you say that, I don't fucking know, dude. Canadians are already struggling with the rising cost of living and high taxes, we didn't need this. But yeah, you can see people really aren't thrilled about this price increase, and I'm not gonna go over any more replies because they're all along the lines of what I just showed. We're gonna go ahead and wrap things up here. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you didn't like the video, make sure to smash that dislike button and leave a mean comment. Alright, I'm out.